No, Mr. Hamilton, I don't want you to feel left out of this conversation. So I'm going to make sure I ask you some questions. Let me know if you're having problems answering them, because they really should be yes or no. Let's see. You're the executive director for the America First Legal, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And America First Legal is a member of Project 2025, which is dedicated to creating the playbook for the next conservative administration and what it calls the project pillars, correct?
We are proud contributors to Project 2025.
Okay. And are you familiar with Project 2025's mandate for leadership?
In fact, I am.
Okay. And in fact, you wrote some of the sections of this mandate related to the DOJ, correct?
Sure did.
And the mandate outlines policy priorities for the next conservative president. Is that correct?
It does.
You've done a great job. I just want to let you know. All right, so let's walk through some of the provisions of the mandate. It calls for eliminating the Department of Education, eliminating the Department of Commerce, deploying the military for the use of domestic law enforcement against protesters under the Insurrection Act of 1807. It also has the repealing of Schedule F status for thousands of federal employees to allow a president to replace career civil servants with unqualified partisan loyalists. That's probably my favorite of it. It also prohibits the FBI from combating the spread of misinformation and disinformation, like Russia and China, who are actively trying to interfere with American elections. I don't know why or how anybody can support Project 2025. And I know that there was allegedly a joke about dictators and whether or not that's funny, but in the United States of America, dictatorships are never funny. And Project 2025 is giving the playbook for authoritarianism as well as the next dictator to come in.
So what are the criticisms of Project 2025? Project 2025 has sparked significant criticism from various sources. Critics argue that the project embodies a comprehensive plan to centralize executive power, erode democratic norms, and enforce a far-right agenda on American governance and society. Let's take a look at 5 specific criticisms in more detail. First is the centralization of executive power. One major criticism is that Project 2025 seeks to expand presidential control over the federal bureaucracy. The plan includes reviving the Schedule F classification, which would allow the president to replace thousands of civil service employees with political appointees loyal to the administration. Critics argue this would undermine the nonpartisan nature of the civil service and politicize federal agencies, making them tools of the executive branch rather than independent entities. Second is the attack on democratic institutions. Critics highlight that Project 2025's blueprint includes proposals to dismantle or weaken key democratic institutions. This includes plans to defund the Department of Justice and dismantle the FBI and other agencies that could act as checks on presidential power. Such moves are seen as efforts to undermine the rule of law and enable the executive branch to operate with little oversight or accountability. Third, the project also faces criticism for its potential use of government power to target political opponents and critics. There are fears that it would enable the executive to pursue legal action against political adversaries and critical media outlets, drawing parallels to authoritarian regimes where dissent is suppressed through state mechanisms.
Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakah Kwadash. Double honor to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. I'm the brother Yawanathan, back with another quick lesson. Lord willing, is edifying. And heading into 2025, man, it's looking like it's going to be a big year. All right, everything is going in the direction of biblical prophecy, and it's a beautiful sign. You know, I seen this Project 2025 thing, and I thought of a couple of scriptures to bring out in the lesson, but pretty much the key word here is authoritarian. You know, that's a word that was getting thrown around in the criticisms of this Project 2025. And basically what the word authoritarianism or authoritarian means is favoring or enforcing strict obedience to authority, especially that of the government, at the expense of personal freedom. That's the key word, authoritarian. So basically what's going to happen is they're going to start stripping you of your rights here in America. All right, they're going to suspend the Constitution. They're going to do away with any laws and rights that the citizens have against the agendas that they want to bring in forward, which one of the main agendas, if not the main agenda, is to microchip everybody. All right, and that's what the Bible calls the mark of the beast. It's a microchip implant, and what they're going to do is they're going to make it mandatory, and it's going to be the new world reserve currency, basically meaning you won't be able to buy or sell if you don't have that chip. All right, so this is what's coming. And so they're getting things in place. They're getting the laws and the structure formed now so that when the time comes later, you people can't resist. You people can't say anything because it's going to be made law. It's going to be mandated by legislation. All right, the executive orders are going to begin to be enacted. All right, the thousands of executive orders that the United States presidents have been signing for the last century, they all going to be enacted. All right, which such as executive orders like taking your food and water in case of an emergency. All right, FEMA coming in and grabbing people up, what they call concentration camps or re-educational centers, you know, FEMA camps, things like that. And they're going to administer that chip. That's going to be the main agenda of all these authoritarian style laws that they're basically passing. All right, which is taking away more rights from the people, oppressing the people more. And that just goes to show you that this is a wicked rulership. Proverbs 29:2. All right, when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Who's the wicked? The so-called white man, Esau, Edom. And he's the one that's behind this agenda. He's the one that's going to push this thing at the expense of people's lives. All right, they're getting ready to kill people under these laws, man. This is not just going to be, you know, pick your side, choose your side, or get down or lay down. Nah, man, they're going to kill people. Well, yeah, you could say that, get down or lay down. Meaning if you don't get down with the agenda, they're going to put you to death. And it made me think of this, Revelation 13:11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. The beast represents a kingdom. All right, when you go back to Daniel, the 7th chapter, all right, Daniel had a dream of seeing the different kingdoms of the world and kings that will rule these kingdoms. And he had it in a vision of different beasts. All right, the lion that had eagle's wings, the bear, the leopard, etc. So beasts could also represent kingdom of men. And in this context, that's what he's talking about here. John is having a vision of America. All right, he's seeing the emergence of America, the creation or the birth of America, aka Babylon the Great, or aka the revised Roman Empire. All right, that's what he's seeing in this vision. So another beast coming up out of the earth represents another kingdom basically coming into power. And that's America once again. And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So what the two horns as a lamb represents is the Democratic and Republican parties. All right, which basically show you that it's basically like two different sides. I forgot what they call it, bipartisan. You know, that's the way how the Romans used to rule. Okay, they had the same style of rulership with the plebeians and the patricians. Okay, that was basically like your Democrats and Republicans today. And through the Senate and the House of Congress, you know, in these different branches of the United States government, this is how basically laws are passed and, you know, society is made up. This is how rules are created through these two horns as a lamb. Now, a lamb is a peaceful animal. All right. But guess what? It's just two horns of the same beast. All right. And then it says when he spake, it was as a dragon. And that goes into Draconian. All right. When you're speaking as a dragon, let's see if there's anything here in the blue letter. All right, we're not really dealing with the mystical creature, so to speak. Well, that's all it's going to say. But it says a dragon, a great serpent, a name for Satan. So this is another code word for the so-called white man. He's also known as Satan, the devil. All right, Esau, Edom, that's his biblical nationality. That's his seed line. He goes back to Esau. All right, but he's known in the Bible as the old serpent. All right, the red dragon, and many other names, man, the wicked. Okay, but really what it's dealing with here is Dracon. All right, when you see that Greek word Dracon, G1404.
Strong's G 1404. Dracon.
Dracon really goes back to Draconian, all right, which is basically going back to the Greeks and the Romans once again. All right, showing you that this beast, as it's going to say in the next verse, is really just a rebirth of the ancient Roman Empire. They brought all the ways of ancient Rome and they brought it back in this time today with technology. All right, this is the technological Roman Empire, if you will. It's just updated. It's more modern, but the infrastructure is still the same. The curriculum is still the same. Talking about, you know, the education and things like that. And you see the lifestyle and the culture of the people, which is basically likened on to Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, dealing with the homosexuality. It's just like ancient Rome. All right, so how did ancient Rome rule? They ruled under this authoritarian style called Draconian. It says of laws or their application. So that means it could be the law itself that's Draconian, meaning, damn, this is a harsh, you know, this is a harsh law. You try to make everybody take a microchip. Isn't that kind of harsh? But not only just the law itself, but the application of the law. So meaning what? The consequences and the penalties of these laws are very harsh, excessively harsh and severe. Okay, that's what Draconian or Dracon basically means. It means harsh and very severe. So what are they doing? They're bringing in this Project 2025, man. And everybody, you can see people are naturally resistant to it, especially we talking about, you know, the American people, but within the government. You know, they recognize that this is a breach of the Constitution. This is a breach of the so-called rights and amendments that the American government, the United States government, grants its citizens. All right, this is a complete breach against that. And nobody's going to stop it. Guess what? Nobody's going to stop this. It doesn't matter how many congressmen, senators, etc. come together in the legislative branch and the judiciary branch and the federal branch. It don't matter. They come in all under the authoritarian, draconian system. All right, that's what America is about to become real soon. Practically overnight. All right, because people aren't really hip to this, man. Nobody's talking about this. I haven't seen no mainstream videos about this. You see, so these things are going right under the radar. It's happening. It's 2024. It's June, what's today? The 12th, 2024, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, June 12th. And that's halfway through the year, man. And soon we'll be in 2025, and these things are going to be coming into effect once this next president comes into office, into power, which, you know, hopefully is Donald Trump. Because that's a man for the job. That's a man that gets jobs done. You see, you're fired. You know, he had that show, The Enterprise. This is a man that he is very draconian. All right. He is very harsh. He's a very shrewd person, hard person to deal with. That's a perfect guy for the job and the task of bringing America down. All right, of bringing this New World Order agenda in, which is the CBDC leading into the microchip. And then that's it, the complete collapse and destruction of Babylon the Great America. Because that's what comes after that. All right, these people are not ruling forever, man. The Most High did not intend for the so-called white man, who he hates, by the way, Esau, Edom, the elites especially. He did not intend for them to rule forever. All right, this is merely prophecy, man. This is only happening because it has to happen. This is only happening because Yahweh and Yahawashi ordained it to happen. All right, they spoke it into existence through the words of the Holy Bible. All right, through multiple visions and the men of the Lord, the prophets, speaking these things. All right, and now we're living it out. So these are the last of the last days, man. And they're definitely about to bring in this this draconian rulership, this authoritarianism. They're going to bring this thing into light, man. They're going to turn it into real life real soon. You think, oh, the government could never do that. They would never do that. There'll be a civil war. There is going to be a civil war. That's still not going to stop nothing. All right. That's still going to play a part of this whole plan of these agendas of basically bringing in, the problem, reaction, solution, the Hegelian dialect, pressure from above, pressure from beneath. They want chaos all around the globe, man, on all fronts. That's the only way to basically introduce these crazy ass draconian agendas that they have, man, which is to microchip people, to kill off billions of people. All right. You think people are just they're just going to be able to do this thing and nobody's going to say nothing? There is going to be sedition. Matter of fact, let me get that in 2nd Ezra 15. The people are not just going to go along with this. So that's why they need the chaos, man. They need everything breaking out into violence. They need misinformation all over the internet to confuse people. They need protesters and rioters, agent provocateurs. They pay these people to do these things, man. That's an actual profession. You can get a profession, a career, being an agent provocateur by showing up in protests, trying to incite emotions to then lead to violence, which is the very definition of sedition, which is 2nd Ezra 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. So people are going to be fighting against each other because they have contrary beliefs. You're going to have one group of people who are okay and they agree with the microchip agenda. They think that's the safest, smartest, best way or whatever, the most modern way to track people and et cetera, whatever, however they feel about it. They're going to voice their opinions. Then you're going to have people that's against it. Just like when they administered the jab. It was really the same thing. All right, you had people that was against the jab. You had people that they knew something was up and they say, no, I'm not taking that. And then the people that did have the jab, they was basically coming against people that didn't have it. And they were saying, well, you getting people killed. This is irresponsible. You being selfish. Do it for your community. Do it for your family. Do it for your people, etc. Do it for America. Blah, blah, blah. All right. And that caused a lot of friction between the people because now you're in a public environment. And if somebody knows that you're not vaccinated, they look at you like you a threat. All right. They look at you like you're a public safety hazard or some. I don't know if that's a word. Public safety concern, something like that. Basically when somebody who's not vaccinated is around people and could potentially get them sick and them people could potentially die. So there was a friction that was there when that thing was first being made mandatory. It's going to be the same thing, man. As they bring these agendas, you're going to have groups of people that are down with it. You're going to have the majority of the groups of people that are not down with it. And they're going to fight tooth and nail. They're not going to just bend over and let this man chip them. All right. So that's going to be your sedition right there, man. Words that incite violence, protesting, peaceful protests gone wrong. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So they're not going to regard the government, the president, the mayors, the senators, etc. They're not going to regard these people who have positions of power and authority within the government because why? They're going to be draconian. They're going to be authoritarian. I have a hard time saying that word, but I keep trying to say it so I can get used to saying it. But yeah, that, you're going to have people that's going to say, hell no. All right. And the course of their action shall stand in their power. So they're going to do whatever the hell they want to do, which I'll let you guess what you think people are going to want to do in that day when there's no lights, when there's a cyber attack on America's infrastructure, on the water supply, on the power grid, etc. What the hell you think people is going to do when they take power into their own, actions into their own power, when they're not following the draconian laws that's being set in place? They're not following the executive orders that the president is enacting. What you think people is going to do? It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. All right, so it's going to be Complete chaos, man. Complete civil war and chaos in America. All right, and basically what's going to be the fix for that? Well, here come the elites. You know, here comes more authorities, more unelected officials from the World Health Organization, from the CDC, random fucking Dr. Fauci's popping up all over the place here to recommend and you know, basically administer whatever the next thing is, whether it be another jab. I don't think it'll be another jab, but however, you know, they basically smooth that thing in, because they're not just going to one day you wake up, oh, okay, today you got to take a microchip. It's going to progress into that. It's going to gradually go into that. All right, and that's what these prophecies here are speaking about. Basically, this is the chaos, you know, that's going to come right before that and right in the midst of that, right as they're basically bringing in new world order. Job 20, all right, I think it's around the 22nd verse. It said he shall be in straits. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Okay, so he's not going to be able to get this thing done, you see. He's going to have a very hard time with the people. It said every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And that word wicked is imol, which is the laborers, which is basically your working class citizen. The people who don't benefit off of none of this shit, that all these agendas and, you know, all these things that the government does, man, all these wars that they funding and etc. The regular working class citizen does not benefit from nothing. All right, matter of fact, they're getting ready to wipe you people out. All right, and the only ones of you that they're going to keep is the ones that's acceptance of CBDC and UBI. All right, just stay your ass home, play your fucking video games all day, and we'll cut you a check. That's going to be the only people that won't have a problem with all of this, man. This is a big issue. All right, and you're gonna have a lot of people, once again, they're gonna resist, and that's why this part is gonna come into play in Revelation 13 and 12. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, which is talking about ancient Rome. All right, so basically here in America and between NATO and the EU, because that's really the whole empire together. You know, it's not just solely America that rules the world. They rule the world along with NATO and the EU. That's the main power, you know, the main superpower in the earth. And so what they do is they got you people worshiping ancient Rome. All right, the school, what they teach, you know, the languages you speak, everything, man, your culture, everything, it goes all back to ancient Rome. All right, so you people are subconsciously, you don't really know, but you are worshiping the first beast, which is ancient Rome. When you believe that America is it, this is the way. You know, you're proud to be an American. You're worshiping the first beast. It says, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, because Rome fell. All right, the ancient pagan Roman Empire fell, and it was then, you know, basically so-called Negroes, Israelites, they ruled Europe for 1,000 years, all right, which was known as the Dark Ages. So you had the Dark Ages. If you go back to the icons, you know, if you ignore something called iconoclasm, which is the destruction of those images, but look at the true images, the original images, you're gonna see a bunch of black men in Rome, all right, the Holy Roman Empire. Them ancient Romans wasn't holy. They was pagans. They wasn't religious when it came to Christianity and the Bible, God and Jesus Christ. They wasn't all into that. They was into paganism. They was into idols. They was into worshiping the constellations and all these other things, man. So that first beast that is speaking about that everybody's worshiping in the world, the whole planet Earth is worshiping, is talking about ancient Rome. So when you jump down to verse 15, this is really the point I wanted. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. The image of that beast is talking about his ideologies and his philosophies, which again is modeled after ancient Rome. So he had power, meaning the Most High gave him resources. He gave him power. He gave him the sword. He gave him authority. He gave the so-called white man all these things to do what? To basically give life onto this image, man, to bring it to fruition. So it's not just a law. It's not just a piece of paper that's written with pen. When they say the pen is greater than the sword, but it's the enacting of that law. That's the act of power. All right, when you can actually enforce that law. And obviously it would have to be done under the sword, because you're going to have people that don't want to do it. So he's giving life onto this thing. He's actually bringing it forth. He's making it real life. And that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So that's what's coming. All right, they're going to start killing people. They're going to start execute. They're going to, how do you call it? They're going to administer the death sentence, man. They're going to bring back, like Trump wants to do. He wants to give the death sentence. He wants to behead people that speak so-called anti-Semitism. That's draconian, man. This is what the scriptures here is speaking about. This is what's coming. All right, this is the type of society that we're going to be living in real soon. You know, so hey, that's the message. You know, that's the spirit. I'm pretty much done with this lesson, and Lord willing, you know, I'll put some more lessons out during the week for you brothers and sisters. But hey, be ready for this, man. You know, be ready.